Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. So this is the Xiaomi 13T Pro. In Xiaomi's wide range of products, this is probably number 3 in the pecking order behind, the number series like the Xiaomi 13, Xiaomi 12. That's probably the mainline flagship. And then the mixed fold series is number 2. This would be number 3, at least in my opinion. This is not according to Xiaomi. So what it means is this is a base level flagship. Not quite a premium flagship, but it still has a lot of flagship components. It definitely can go toe-to-toe against an actual premium flagship like an iPhone 15 Pro Max in many areas. So the star of the show are these two Leica cameras right here. Both of these are 50 megapixels. So you have a standard main camera that shoots at 24 millimeter, a wide field of view, 50 megapixel f1.9 aperture, 1/1.3 inch image sensor size. So definitely not at the level of the IMX989 sensor that's in the 13 Ultra and 13 Pro, but this is still a pretty capable sensor. I'll show you samples pretty soon. But I actually like the tele lens here quite a lot. This is a telephoto lens that can shoot at about 50 millimeters, so about 2 times zoom. Also f1.9 aperture, but this tele lens can also double as a macro sensor. What it means is you can get close to something and still keep things in focus, and you get a natural bokeh too. So let me show you. I'm gonna jump to the 2x zoom lens, get closer a little bit, and I was able to snap this shot right here of my camera. Check out the lens, the details, and also the bokeh. You see the camera body is actually a little bit out of focus compared to the lens because the lens is closer to the camera. So you get real separation between subjects in the foreground and background. So that's the main selling point of this phone, the 2 main cameras here. There's also a 12 megapixel ultra wide. That's pretty good during the day, but at night, of course, photos are a little bit soft on details. But during the day, I love using the ultra wide lens to film myself and a group of friends. And a 20 megapixel front facing camera that can capture pretty good selfies for photos, but then for videos, again, no 4K recording. I know a lot of you guys are going to be annoyed at that, but it is what it is. Front-facing camera footage, and yes, once again, maxes out at 1080p, so no 4K. You have a MediaTek Dimensity 9200 chip, which has proven pretty capable. I was gaming on it, it worked perfectly fine. But obviously, it's not as powerful as the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 2 if you look at the benchmarks. But don't really worry about benchmark numbers that much in 2023. All the SoCs are more than good enough. Before I continue, I would like to take a minute to talk about today's video sponsor, Sarge. So if you're an iPhone user who finds out your iPhone's always low on battery, you may want to check out the Sarge 10,000 mAh power bank. It's a portable battery that snaps onto the back, charges the iPhone via MagSafe. I like the transparent design that shows you the internals of the battery. There's also a really cool RGB light that wraps around a fan. The fan will help keep the battery and your iPhone cool as you're charging. There's also a USB-C port that can charge other devices like your iPad or a Xiaomi 13T Pro. If you're interested in learning more about the Sarge 10,000 mAh Ice Mag power bank, I'll have a link in the description below. Thanks to Sarge for sponsoring this portion of the video. Elsewhere, the design is pretty nice. I quite like this vegan leather finish again. So not all the 13T models have this leather finish. Only this blue color has it. The other models have a traditional glass, Gorilla Glass 5 model, but I like the texture, the in-hand feel. The panel is flat, so the sides are also a little bit flatter, but they don't dig into your palm like an iPhone 14 or 13 Pro. It's a little bit chamfered and rounded. The phone weighs 200 grams, so relatively lightweight. 8.4 millimeters in thickness, houses a 5,000 mAh battery that can be fast charged at 120 watt, charges included. IP68 water and dust resistant, excellent stereo speakers, and also 12 or 16 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM. Around the front, you have a 6.7-inch OLED display with 144 Hz refresh rate. Usually I can't see a difference between 144 and 120, but here sometimes I actually can. Like the animation is buttery smooth. Resolution is 2712 by 1220, so it's FHD plus, not quite Quad HD resolution. The display gets to a maximum brightness of 1200 nits, so a couple of notches below the brightest panels on the market like the Xiaomi 13 Ultra or the Galaxy S23 Ultra, but still definitely bright enough for, at least right now, outdoor use and really good looking to my eyes. However, after using the iPhone 15 Pro Max with completely symmetrical bezels, the 13T Pro looks a little bit jarring because the chin bezel is a little bit thicker than the bezel at the top, so it's not quite symmetrical, but that's me being picky. This phone is $1,200. Now, I don't know the official pricing of the 13T Pro because, as usual, Xiaomi will not give us pricing beforehand. But the last couple of T phones launched in Europe around like the 800 euro price range. So that's like around 850 US dollars. And I think that's probably going to stay the same. Now in Asia, it's probably going to be a little bit cheaper too. So if you buy this phone in maybe Singapore, Thailand, Hong Kong, you can probably expect to pay like 700 US dollars. But yeah, in Europe, it's going to be like 850, 900 US dollars. Okay, so I've snapped a lot of photos of the 13T Pro already. Like I said earlier, I find that the main camera to be really good. I like the color signs for the most part. It's, you have two options because of the Leica optics. So you can choose in Leica Authentic, which is a little bit dull in my opinion, or Leica Vibrant, which dials up the contrast. And personally, I like how Leica Vibrant looks. Although the colors probably, cannot be called accurate, especially if you compare against like the iPhone, which tends to play a little bit safe and more natural. Like for example, if you look at these two photos here, the Xiaomi photo is just a little bit punchy, a little bit more vibrant. The iPhone shadow is a little bit dark in some areas, but then the iPhone photo is definitely a little bit more accurate in terms of dynamic range. But then here in this shot, I think it's a very clear win for the Xiaomi 13T Pro, particularly if you zoom into Pixel Peep, you just see a lot more details on the table. You can see the texture of the wooden table better on the Xiaomi 13T Pro than on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Basically, if you Pixel Peep, I like the Xiaomi 13T Pro images better. Like 60-70% of the time, there's a stronger natural bokeh. There's a little bit more details and texture when you zoom in. And the 2x telephoto zoom lens, like I said, I love the fact that you can capture macro photos and videos. Like just the depth of field is strong, which gives it a cinematic vibe. Like for example, let's take another shot of this DJI mic right here. So 2x macro right here. Like this looks really good. You can see the details of the box very clearly, and you have very clear natural bokeh separation. So this phone could be a credible camera for B-rolls and product shots. Like obviously, if you're like a really established YouTuber or a media reporter for like The Verge, you're not going to use a camera like this. But if you're like a smaller blogger, writing for a smaller tech site, or like a beginning YouTuber, you can definitely shoot with this and get product shots that are presentable. Like you get natural bokeh, you don't get distortion because it's 50mm. It's better than shooting with the main camera because the main camera is too wide, it'll give you distortion. Like this is a more than acceptable, suitable product shot of the iPhone 15 Pro Max shot with the 2x tele lens here. The battery life has also been pretty good, 5,000 mAh. It's enough to last me all day if I'm not really heavily pushing it. But on heavier days, then you will need to top up. But there's a 120-watt charger that's included. There's an in-display fingerprint sensor, optical, it works very well. The buttons are clicky, everything's very tactile. And like I said, I like the overall construction and the flatter frame. It fits into the hand really comfortably. Stereo speakers sound great too, as I said. Listen to my money talk. I know I like it. Yeah, everyone. So the only things here to keep it from a premium tip-top flagship is there's no wireless charging and there's no longer zoom lens. The zoom lens is only 2x optical, and the ultra-wide is a little bit weaker. Like on a premium flagship, the ultra-wide will be a little bit better. Otherwise, it ticks most of the boxes that people care about. A great main camera, a great portrait lens, a great screen, great battery life. So yeah, this is the Xiaomi 13T Pro in a nutshell. For the most part, a really good looking baseline flagship phone, but it really depends on pricing. If Xiaomi charges like 950 euro for this, then no, it's gonna be a little bit too much. But anything under 800 euro, then I think it's fair. So yeah, I'll be back with more content. It's a busy month, so expect videos on OnePlus Foldable, Google Pixel, a couple of other Huawei devices, so a bunch of stuff coming out. So please stay tuned. Thanks for watching.